One Piece. This is what this channel is now, boys. This is our YouTube retirement. We just film when we fucking feel like it. We actually made a similar announcement on Chainsaw Man, Thurman, where we that's just what this channel is now. We've given up on all schedules. It's just a when we fucking feel like schedule because, you know, it's fun, but I can't be fucking bothered. But I do love doing it. But when Wonky D Warp comes in...
Bro, it's so funny to me that, like, Garp, the man himself... Bro, here's the thing, right? Like...
Yeah.
Everyone, because here's the running joke, right? It's like Shanks do something, Garp do something.
And they finally are.
Like, bro, the fact that fucking Garp just one shot an island, essentially, fucking
that
wild.
It was fucking huge, dude. Fucking now, I don't think he destroyed the whole island, but I think he destroyed most of the city that was on the island.
Because I don't know, because remind me, because I'm fucking stupid, slow, right? So like so that island is clearly was a devil fruit, right? So like,
no, the island. Okay, so one of his guys, Avalo Pizarro, that one of the guys that Blackbeard got from Impel Down, and you know, because remember the vibe with Blackbeard's crew. Because I think we briefly talked about when we saw Blackbeard fighting Law and then his crew. The interesting thing about Blackbeard's crew, and one of the reasons why I'm so excited for Blackbeard's crew, right? Let's compare Blackbeard's crew to Kaido's crew, okay? So Kaido's crew, they have this like animal theme, right? And like I'm sorry, I'm gonna be real. The most boring devil fruit types are zone types. Do you agree with me?
It depends on the like the dragon fruit, fire, right?
I guess, yeah, they're fine, but like, all right, if they're ancients or fucking mythical, they're fine.
Bro? Like a croc fruit or some shit like that.
Fine, it can be fire, but Blackbeard's theming is really interesting to me in comparison to like these other crews, because Blackbeard's whole deal is he's a devil fruit hunter. He goes around, he wants to find the specific devil fruit. We saw this with himself, you know, he had his eyes on the darkness fruit. It's like when you're fucking like, dude, I'm hunting for the perfect t-shirt, bro. A t-shirt that's going to fit my aesthetics. There it is. Boom. That he's doing that shit with devil fruits. So all of his crew, like normally Oda kind of, I think he makes an effort to make it so they don't have like you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of how to example. Like, you don't want like a dude who's like, hey, I'm a greaser, hey, and I just so happen to have the grease power. It's like, okay, well, how'd you find it? Not everyone can have a power that perfectly fits their personality, but with Blackbeard's crew, they can do that, because the whole thing with Blackbeard is he's got connections, he's one of the Yonkos, he's got, no doubt, thousands of men now, and he has the ability to just fucking yoink and give people whatever fruits that they want. So, like, what's going to be really fun about Blackbeard's crew is every single one of their members has a power that amplifies their strengths that they already have. You know what I mean? So, like, like the guy who's an amazing sniper can fucking teleport. Final Usopp fight gonna be fucking lit. All right. God, invisible Shiryu of the Rain. Fucking the strong pro wrestler guy has a fruit that makes him even stronger, so now he's picking up mountains and shit. Then here we got the drunk guy has the booze fruit, or the glug fruit, booze man. We don't even know what that could fucking do, because at first I thought the bubbles that he was on had something to do with that, but then we see that's just like the snot bubbles from San Juan Wolf, the big fucker. Speaking of the big fucker, who's already big, he has a fruit that makes him even bigger. And then we got my personal favorite of the whole bunch that it's revealed in this one, the island fruit. You know what this is, right? Because we learned with Katakuri that every devil fruit has like a better and worse version of it, right? Because obviously now we know that Luffy's fruit is some weird Deus Ex Machina shit, which I'm still iffy on. I love Gear 5th, but it's still weird how that came out. Anyway, though, but like, remember with Katakuri, the whole vibe was like my fruit, the mochi fruit, is like the better version of your rubber fruit. Like, remember Luffy does fucking Gatling, and then Katakuri is like, wouldn't it just be easier to make more arms? I love that part. But you know what this is, right? This island fruit is the superior version of Pika's fruit from Dressrosa.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
Pika could assimilate into stone. This guy can assimilate into fucking anything. An entire island.
Yeah, because I was like, cause I know like the island didn't get like a fucking devil fruit, right? Because I'm wild. It's like the fucking elephant ate the sword fruit, or the sword ate.
That would be fucking cool. But no, it's a Valo Pizarro. You gotta keep your mind fresh on my boy Blackbeard's fucking crewmates, man.
Because I was just like, okay, so he assimilated himself into the whole island, which is fucking cool as fuck, right?
It's better Pika, literally. Yeah.
It's just kind of like, so Garp just basically fucking punched the whole person, like a
Well, yes and no. I think like it's probably like Pico where he can move around where he is and he can expand it and shrink it, right? So
that shit probably fucking hurts. Like imagine, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're in a fucking island, bro. You're just chilling. Then fucking it comes in hockey full for bro. Like that'd be so fucking painful. Oh
Not
my.
only was that hockey, that was confirmed. He has that fucking Conqueror's hockey thing where like they can infuse the Conqueror's hockey into the punch because you know the way that we can look at that is when you clash and you're not even making contact. Look at the space. Look at where he's punching from. That's what blew my mind. This is insane. This feat is I'm gonna say this is like maybe the craziest attack we've seen in the entire series. Like because we all know Shanks wasn't going full 100% on Kid. Like that was like a casual sword swing from Shanks. Like get the fuck out of here. Like yeah, he put Conqueror's hockey on it and shit, but that was not effort. That was like 25% effort. That was like low, maybe approaching low to like semi mid diff. I think on Shanks, just like whatever. Just get the fuck out of here. This is Garp going probably close to hard. Like this is like Garp going like I don't know 65%. I think.
So I find it like speaking of like Garp in the Navy, I find it kind of crazy how we have like a sword like division, right? Where you literally like that's fucking crazy, right?
Yes,
like
we finally know what that means. You remember when that was first foreshadowed back in Wano? We were reviewing back then when sword was first like hinted at, like because we saw like it was Drake in Wano and he was like on a Den Mushi like I'm here, I'm in, you know.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Like, imagine if our like what?
I bet they do. I'd be honest with you. I probably do. There's probably people that are like on some fucking James Bond shit where it's like if you get caught, we have nothing to do with it. You're not connected to us. You just say because think about it, right? If one of our official like army dudes goes in and like tries to assassinate, I don't know, insert random world leader here, and they do it, and like they find out that was an official hired on the payroll U.S. government guy or U.S. Army guy, that's war. But if it's some random guy, they can't get mad at us. Like, what do you? That ain't our guy, you know.
So yeah, because he's technically a part of the Navy, but he is like anytime he'll get caught, like or he'll, you know what I mean, like he's a part. If you're like a part of this sort of like division, we have nothing to do with you. If you get like, it's crazy, right? It's so crazy because it's just like it has a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Positivities for the government, but not for like the individual a part of the division. Right?
I think because the only positivity for the individual is that they get a little bit more freedom, right? Like they don't have to. They can completely kind of work around any like like rules of engagement and like things like I don't know any of the rules. I imagine they just don't have to follow. Like we saw a couple chapters ago when Garp rocked up and he was like, "Hey, we're just gonna go fuck up a Yonko," and they're like, "You can't. What do you fucking mean? You can't just do that." He's like, "Oh, no, yeah, I can." You know, that's why. Because if they get caught, they're just gonna be like, "Hey, we win." Because remember, we actually know this. After the Marineford War, Garp technically retired. Garp is retired. He just stays on to be like their Uncle Sam figure. Like Sengoku, if I remember correctly, was like, "Hey, I know you're retired, but can you just like keep training the youngins? They look up to you like a hero. You know, you're kind of like the Uncle Sam. Like a lot of people join because they want to be just like Garp because they know they'll be trained by Garp. So like he is retired officially, but he stays on to train."
Yeah, because the way I look at it. When it comes to that, it's kind of like because you already know this is the government's like main thing, right? Like, let's say like you're a part of the sword division and you do something like extraordinary feat, the government would take like credit for that for your work. But let's say like you fail and like they'll leave you high and dry. Like that's the way I look at it.
Like, I mean, if you do something good. And it's not illegal. Like, it's not, like, not illegal. Obviously, they're the world government. I was thinking too much in our world where there's, like, a UN and, like, different, but they're the world government. So I guess if you do something good and it's not going to lead to a war with a Yonko, Like if you let me think. Like if somehow some sword member like completely wiped out like an entire Yonko fleet, they'd be like, yeah, that was us. But if the sword member went in and like killed one guy and then dipped, and then Big Mom's like, I'm about to fucking rock up to Marineford and kill all you fuckers, and you'd be like, well, that's not our guy. He was fired like 3 months ago.
It's crazy because remind me, because I was shocked to see Kuzan here. I was just like, it's been a minute.
My brother, you need to reread all of One Piece.
I forgot. You have to remind me. Okay, Kuzan. Okay, so it's been a minute.
This has been talked about since Punk Hazard.
Yeah, bro, I'm slow. I don't know what you want me to say, bro.
So in Punk Hazard, I mean, even before Punk Hazard, in Fishman Island, it was, and to be fair, I have the benefit of, I've reread it multiple times, plus I'm rereading it with Allie right now, and Allie is just now entering Whole Cake, so Allie's getting there.
She's about to experience peak fiction.
Yeah, she's about to experience. She's been waiting for Katakuri, man. She's been seeing pictures of him. She's ready. She's ready to thirst. She's into Katakuri, legit. She loves the big men. She's also very into Doflamingo. Like she loved Doflamingo.
You know what? Okay, that next Dolphy has that drip.
He does. Yeah. Anyway, so let me just remind you. God, Thurman, I love you, buddy, but like you're not the One Piece master that you used to be.
Listen, it's been a minute, okay? I've been off the rails, you know what I mean?
Thurman gets a crumb of pussy and forgets all of his One Piece knowledge.
A good pussy can change your life.
Okay. So back in like Fishman Island, like post time skip, here's the timeline. Aokiji and Akainu they fought to see who would be the head guy for the Marines. Ice Admiral lost. I'm gonna call Ice Admiral and Lava Admiral because fuck their names. Ice Admiral lost, and then the official story, there's a lot of theories, but the official story, because the Marines are talking about it, Jinbei was talking about it, if I remember correctly, at Fishman Island, and they're all like, yeah, it's fucking weird as hell. But he went and joined the Blackbeard Pirates. Like that's literally like what, like yeah, this guy fucking lost and then he got all salty and he went and joined the Blackbeard Pirates, right? That was, which of course we know that's not in his character to do. So the vibe for a while has been that he's probably an undercover guy. And what this chapter, because remember as well in Punk Hazard, he showed up to save Smoker from getting like insta killed by Doflamingo. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you or no?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember, though, the funny way I remember that is you showing me how shitty the anime was.
Oh.
Doing the pause.
Because it was like one page and they took like 3 minutes. Oh my god.
Of them just staring at each other and Dolphy's just like, nah, I'm good. And just walk.
So basically, yeah, so he shows up and this is kind of the first hint at like, okay, clearly there's more going on here. He shows up, he saves Smoker. Him and Smoker have a chat. Smoker's like, hey, what the fuck's up with you joining Blackbeard? Like, what the fuck? And then he's kind of just like, I can't really talk about it, but, I think he says, I'm still me. I'm still me. I'm not a different guy. I'm still me. Or something like that. I don't fully remember the conversation, so if I'm very wrong, forgive me. But, like, yeah, he's super chill with Smoker, so it's, like, obvious that there's something going on here. And then this chapter... Plus, also, my guy, in a couple cover stories ago, remember we saw the cover story of them coming in and fucking stealing pudding from Big Mom's place? Aokiji was in that, dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just needed a refresher. Sometimes.
Yeah. So he's been working with them for a while. Now, this chapter, I think, kind of gives the game away. He's talking about Sword and how Sword works and how Sword is Marines that have been officially dropped from the Marines, but they can go and do shit, like undercover shit. I think that's what he is. I genuinely think that's what he's doing here.
Okay.
Like he dropped out of the Marines to join the Blackbeard Pirates to try to take them down from the inside. That's genuinely what I think is happening here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a wild card. The wild card commandos, because
wild card, yeah, because he's not restrained by anything now.
Yeah, but it's so funny, by the way. Can we talk about Blackbeard's like fucking Pirate Island shit? Like that seems so like small for Blackbeard. It seems like such a like small time like goal for him. Like Blackbeard Kingdom. I'm just kind of like, I feel like she has more to his character than that. Like
I don't think that's his full goal. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you're falling for Blackbeard's bullshit yet again. You should be smarter than this. So Blackbeard, do you remember?
Like,
listen,
it's just so simple. This is so simple.
That's
like,
not because he's lying. Listen, hear me out, man. Pre-time skip, the man was like, "I'm gonna become a warlord," and then what did he do with the warlord stuff? He used that to go into Impel Down and get his boys. and then he became a Yonko, right? He didn't really want to become a warlord. He used that as a stepping stone. I'm going to tell you right now what's going on. He wants to be an official king of a country so he can get invited to the Reverie and get safe passage up to Marijua and kill the Celestial Dragons.
Now, is that your theory or another YouTuber's theory?
I've heard that basically it's the accepted theory. It's like everyone is basically saying that.
Among the One Piece hierarchy of
listen, I'm very much in tune with like the One Piece reviewers. That's basically the vibe. Yeah, because I mean you're right. I mean you have to remember that Blackbeard. You remember what character this is. Remember the scheming and sleazy fuck shit that we're talking about right now. Okay, like he is trying to get up to Reverie. So because we already know he wants to take over the world, be the king of the pirates. So he's this has been established. He's trying to do some skeezy fucking shit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, trust in the Gota. Like that's not his end goal. He's trying to. Yeah.
I was just kind of like, not that I really believed it. I was just kind of like, that's so fucking stupid, Blackbeard.
Because I mean, even Navy's or even Kobe's like, they're not gonna work with you, dude. What are you talking about? I also think that's him being stupid because remember he is kind of stupid. Like.
I forget he's like a more violent Luffy.
Exactly. But do you remember? I think the perfect scene to remind you of kind of how not the sharpest tack on the drawer he is when he like strolls up to Magellan and Impel Down and he's like, Magellan, what's up, bitch? And Magellan's like, I don't got fucking time for this. It's just like one shots him. You remember? And then like Shiryu shows up and he's like, dude, if we didn't have the antidote, you'd be dead right now. And he's like, well, it worked out.
That's just so fucking funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, Blackbeard really is like he is just Luffy that wants to deal with like. They even remember they have similar goals. They both want to tear down the government. It's just that Blackbeard wants to like kill and murder and then take the throne for himself. Like most people's theories is, you remember? So you remember the Reverie arc for the most part. You remember the empty throne and Eam.
Yeah.
The empty throne which no man can sit on because there's no man that's the king of the world because we're the government. The vibe is that Blackbeard wants to get up there and sit on the empty throne.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
Yeah, let's be honest. That's what he wants to do, and because getting to Marijua is a difficult task. They have that's probably the most guarded place in the world, to be honest with you. And he's a little bit silly, and he thought maybe, hey, if I just become a king, ride the fucking gondola up there, boom, I'm in, and then I could start blasting.
Anyway, I started blasting.
Yeah, Blackbeard would too. Blackbeard would ride the gondola up just patiently, and then he'd get up. Boom! Take one step off that bitch.
I love Blackbeard the character. Side tangent.
Me too.
For those of you who watch Death Battle, web show or whatever from
Battle, we got to get back on ours.
Jeez, right? A lot of people want Blackbeard to fight King K. Rool from Donkey Kong.
I guess I always have to be careful because video game characters are wild, because my instinct is to say Blackbeard bops, but I don't know.
It's so funny because it's just like
I see the similarities.
Because they have first and foremost, I hate connection fights. I think they're so I think if anything for a show like that, them being at the same power level, it's way better than them having similar connections because usually connection fights end up being spites.
I like connection fights, but only if they also have similar power levels.
I think connection should be a bonus, right?
Yeah, because I really want to see Maka versus Ruby. I think Maka would win, but I still want to see it. I think I don't know.
I feel like Ruby now should be way stronger by now.
She is. I mean, that show is terrible. It's I don't know. It's so hard to gauge power levels in that show because it's written so inconsistently. But I don't know. I feel like she could give Maka a decent fight, but once Black Blood gets in the mix, once the Soul Resonance get in the, once fucking Soul starts playing piano in that bitch and she gets her crazy wacky piano keys scythe, I mean it's over. It's fucking over. Once we go Witch Hunter, but I mean I think base Maka would be decently challenged by Ruby, and then it would be over once Maka starts going into forms. That's my analysis.
One of the biggest issues I have is Naruto versus Luffy, and I'm just please stop. Luffy doesn't have a good matchup at all. Most of the people Luffy are put up against, he loses to.
Well, now and Gear 5th throws a whole ass wrench in any fucking versus battle you put him in.
I'm just I don't see Luffy beating Naruto at all. Like out of all the big three, like Ichigo and Naruto just bop him. like, like
Yeah, for now. I think by the end of the series, we're going to see some wacky shit.
oh, of course, but
Yeah.
it's just like they want him up against like Plastic Man, Mr. Fantastic, fucking like Hulk and shit. I'm just like Naruto, Ichigo. I'm just like Luffy loses to most of them. Like the only
Because Naruto blew like a fucking hole in the moon or something, right? Like,
it's just like Naruto, like and this like Kishimoto's. Really, I think it's just the fact that like because remember when we reviewed the Naruto versus Ichigo fight, right? And I was just
that
like,
was a long fucking time
yeah,
ago.
and it was just like and realizing it, I'm just like, and I think it's mostly Kubo's fault, and it's just like Naruto just has a lot more interesting powers. like
And they
and
even
that's
mentioned it too. Like Ichigo's, like Naruto has such a higher repertoire. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just kind of like, and I think that's just because like Kubo didn't give Ichigo anything. While like one thing I will give Kishimoto, like his power system and the power that he gave his
Yeah.
characters, was just
Very
really
interesting until it devolved into DBZ at the end.
but it's just like Oda, and one thing I will give Oda too is like he has interesting powers, but he doesn't oversaturate them. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing too. Like when it comes to like Luffy, and that I really think that that Oda does better than most of the people in his well, I was in his era. Like when I say me in his era, I mean like people his competition around that time like Kubo, Kishimoto, Kiri Toriyama, fucking like Joe, like what's his name, creative JoJo,
Rocky.
Araki and shit like that. Is that like Oda knows how to consistently make and specifically his forms. Oda knows how to make great use of his forms compared to like his competitors because like the one thing that will always annoy me about Dragon Ball is the fact that I don't mind if Goku has a lot of forms. It's just like most of those forms are useless now because at the end of the day, if he fights someone who's
Yeah.
strong as fuck, he's just gonna immediately go into like either Super Saiyan God
Yeah.
or again Super Saiyan or Ultra Instinct. You know what I mean? Like Super Saiyan 2, 3, and 4. Or not 4, it's not
Yeah, and
canon.
Oda's done a good job at making, rather than the forms just being like scaling up in power. You know what I mean? Like it's not like Gear Third is just better Gear Second. Like they are used for different things. If he needs to be fast, he can go into Gear Second. If he needs to be like really destructive and like blow up a building, he can go Gear Third. If he needs a kind of a mixture of both, he can do some Gear Fourth Snake Man Bound Man shit. And if he needs to warp fucking reality, he can go Gear Fifth.
And that's what I love about it too, because it's just like at a certain point, Goku's like Super Saiyan is really just like for him either warming up or fighting someone that he knows he can beat. He just wants to like flex a little bit, right?
Super Saiyan lost its gravitas to me when they had that whole arc in the Cell Saga where it's like we're gonna do this thing where we just like chill in Super Saiyan, like to make that like the new normal, which was clever, but like I was like, man, dude. Oh no, you know what? Then the next time it lost its gravitas, I always love comparing this. It's like Goku achieved Super Saiyan because his like best friend exploded in front of him. Gohan, Super Saiyan, from like crazy training in the hyperbolic time chamber. Super Saiyan 2 from that fucking android getting his head crushed. Gotenks, or is it Goten? Goten, is that his last child? Goten.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goten, motherfucker, was getting chased by his mom. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. It's just like his mom's trying to find him, and he goes Super Saiyan, just like running away.
That's fucking funny, but it's just like I love that because like every form Luffy has, it can still be used because it has a different meaning. That's why I was really shocked that we would like Wano went, and I'm happy he did this. I love Gear Fist design. I love Gear Fist as a whole, but I was so shocked that we got Gear Fist so soon because I was just like because like it feels like it was heavily implied that like Luffy had more forms in Gear Fourth because he was fighting different animals because he had like the snake. I figured he had like more forms, but he goes like straight into Gear Fifth. But Gear Fifth also comes with drawbacks. So I'm kind of happy. Like I'm happy that Luffy has versatility because I love Luffy's like power designs and shit. So I'm just happy that Oda knows how to do that balance. You know what I mean? Because I don't think we've seen Luffy go Gear Second in this arc yet, have we?
Well, so Gear Second is at the point where it's almost implied to be in use. Like always, not always, but like how do I put this? Oda doesn't take the time to draw a panel of him like pumping his legs anymore. But a lot of times when Luffy's like punching, you can look closely and see there's steam coming off of him. You know what I mean? So like the vibe I'm getting is that like whenever he's in base form punching a motherfucker, if it's even like a semi-serious fight, he's probably in gear second. You know what I mean? Gear second has almost become base. You know what I mean? Just to be fast enough to deal with the people that he needs to deal with. Because again, it's just the only way to really tell, because you know it's not the anime, so we can't tell if he's like pink or whatever. Just look for that steam. You know, because like a lot of times you will see it. Like remember when he took out that like Kuma cop robot at the beginning of Vegapunk?
Yeah.
Oh, also he'll say jet if it's gear second, but like, I think a lot of times he is just using it and we don't know because it's not really like a big deal anymore. But yeah, I consider gear second to almost always be in use unless he's just fucking around.
Yeah, right. So I had to see that tangent there, but I'm just really loving like the pacing in this arc. This is so good. Like it's crazy to me how like the pacing. Like the pacing and this between this arc and Wano is complete like night and day easily, right?
Yeah.
Like and we're getting things are taking our time. Like we're like getting so much information being processed, and it doesn't feel like it's rushed. Like the fight in this arc is being handled way better than they ever were in Wano. Like besides like the Yonko fights or shit like that, right?
Yeah,
like
the rooftop battle was decent, and that's about it.
And by the way, Garp's fucking crew right here, Garp's fucking Navy shit.
Oh, so you want to say slurp with me? Slurp?
Bro, Kujaku, bro. Bro,
right. I know you're gonna, because you are a sub. I know you're all about the whip lady. But you already know what I'm about. Hibari.
Bro, same, bro. Like, easy, tag team me easily.
Yeah, back and forth.
Easily.
Oh yes. Oh my, dude. Is it just
that first?
Oda has okay. Hold on. Oda has popped off with his fucking female designs. Like ever since like Yamato came in, surprised the shit out of us, and then like all these fucking girl designs have been so fire. Like I feel like Oda is slowly breaking his curse of like samey looking girls. I feel like he's learning. I'm so proud of him.
Oh yeah, and it's funny too because like
and by the way, Kobe is getting that. I'm sure it's obvious, but Kobe is getting that fucking Hibari. He is getting that Hibari pussy like, on the reg.
Oh, when I first saw Kujaku though, she reminded me a little bit of the girl who had the cheer fruit a little bit.
Like you're talking about the head of the Revolutionary Army divisions.
Yeah,
Bello Betty is her name.
Yeah, like when I first saw her, it reminded me she like not really in like design, but like I don't know where, like as soon as I saw her, like when she was like her first introduced, I was like, she reminds me of like the cheer fruit girl. I don't know why.
Similar vibes. I think they're both mega doms. You know what I mean? Like they both have that dom energy. And of course you're extra sensitive to dom energy as a sub.
I take full compliment. That's a compliment for me.
Can I get next time I'm at a convention? Can I get you like a bottom pin? Like there's like.
Yeah.
Right, will you wear that proudly?
Oh, 100%. I'm literally gonna try and drive up that towards the Michigan Con.
You talking for November because the April one just happened this weekend.
Yeah.
You know who I met over the weekend, by the way? The Death Note cast, Elle and Light's voice actor, and Ryuk.
Oh. Nice.
I gotta show you the shit I got signed later. It's really, really good.
I'm going to con, man. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some good guests.
Oh, flowers, bro. Wait, so it looks like she doesn't have a. Oh wait, well, no. This looks at the devil fruit.
I'm guessing this is another thing you've probably forgotten because you don't pay attention when you read. Would you like to tell me, or would you like me to tell you?
Just tell me.
Cover story about 5 or 10 chapters ago. It was showing Vegapunk's life and the history of Mads. One of Vegapunk's inventions that won him the One Piece versions of the Nobel Peace Prize. It won him like the Ibel Peace Prize or whatever. It was. Do you remember now?
No. But
I thought you were saying something. Vegapunk invented a type of gunpowder, or it was either a type of bullet or a type of gunpowder that turned. No, it was a type of bullet that when shot nearby, it turns all gunpowder into flowers, and it like clogs guns and makes it so they can't shoot.
It's so pretty.
So that's some shit that Vegapunk invented, which is actually really smart. I mean, imagine like a huge war's going down, you just airdrop that shit, and then just like no one can fucking fight. I love that.
I'm just loving how unique these characters we're getting. Like it feels like peak One Piece is back because that's the uniqueness of the characters powers and the devil fruits and shit.
Well, that was kind of what I was going into with the problem with Kaido's crew is he had that animal theme, and I'm sorry, that shit is mega boring, with the exception of like a couple. Like Paramecia and Logia are where it's at.
He hates animals, guys.
Man, but you feel me though, right? Like when here, new guy we're fighting. What's the vibe? Dude, he's just gonna transform into another thing and then proceed to punch again. But he looks different this time.
I mean, like
it reminds me of like Demon Slayer fights. Like, oh, I'm spooky, and then we're fighting. I don't know.
Bro, breath styles are cool, but it's just like okay, like after a while, you kind of get
To me, zone fruits for the most part are aesthetic over like function, right? That's why some of my favorite bits were some of the best bits of Wano, some of the most One Piecey bits of Wano were where Oda was having fun with like that whole like this is how dinosaurs hunted in the wild, and he fucking like helicopters, he shoots his fucking neck out. Like that was the best bit.
Like, oh yeah, I definitely agree.
But you know what I mean, right? Like, Paramecia is what makes One Piece One Piece. When you think of the best devil fruits, you're thinking of Laws, you're thinking of fucking the wax fruit, you're thinking of fucking, like, all these wacky, the buggies, it's all the fun ones. I
feel like Paramecias are definitely an underrated fruit.
Underrated? Like, I disagree completely. I think everyone agrees that they're the best fruit. And then people overhype Logia, but even Logias, compared to Paramecias, are boring. Like it is all about Paramecia.
The Logias are literally the most like
Logias are overpowered, but they're not interesting. It's like, oh wow, he turns into magma. It's how you use it. Luckily, Oda has them use it in interesting ways. But if Aokiji was just, I'm ice and I shoot ice and that's what I do. You know, if it was just like the ice flower from Mario and he just like threw ice and that's all he did the entire fucking fight. But like no, when you know he does cool shit. He sticks his finger in the water and freezes a whole ocean. He fucking throws grass into the air, freezes it, makes an ice sword. That's what makes it interesting.
Mario was the first Logia user.
I think Paramecia, because he was never. Oh, yeah, unless is there any power up that like turns him into the element?
I know there's. I'm pretty sure there are a few. Yeah.
Oh, did you see the Mario movie, by the way? You must have, right?
I want to.
Bro, fake fan. You are the Mario guy, bro.
I've been able to, bro. Listen.
You've let your life slip away from you from getting a crumb of pussy is what's happened.
I've been working, bro. Yeah. That's what I've been doing. But for sure, right? So going back to this, I find it so funny because it makes sense that why Garp wanted to save Kobe, right? Because I've seen a lot of people talk about the reason why Garp has this last panel means a lot. He calls like
huge for Kobe's like confidence too. I mean that's awesome.
Yeah, he like Kobe and shit like that is because he regrets what happened to Ace, right?
I think that's a big part of it. I think he's like in his head he's thinking about like how he didn't act there. Yeah.
Yeah, and also by the way, it shows that if Sengoku didn't stop Garp, fucked over a Akainu.
I've seen people talking about that. Yeah, I mean, I do believe that. I don't want to sleep on Akainu too hard. But I mean, Garp. Yeah, I mean, the man clashed with Roger, right? I mean, imagine this is not him in his prime. Garp is one of those characters that has made comments about how he's like, oh, I'm getting old and not as powerful as I was. Imagine, dude. Imagine prime. Like, one day we're going to see that Valley of the Gods fight where Garp and Roger teamed up against, like, the Rocks pirates. Imagine. Like, unironically, a DBZ fight, bro. That's why that island fucking disappeared, because they blew it off the face of the map.
I'd rather see that as, like, an OVA or, like, a movie or some shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because the good thing about, like, anime movies is that like you can make it all, but you don't really need like good story when it comes to anime movies, especially for like already established like anime or manga or shit like that. Because like
completely. That's why I thought Stampede was mid as fuck and Film Red was amazing.
Because for me,
I just want to see the pretty color. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's true. Like no bullshit. Like for me, like if I want the story,
this is why you're a bottom.
I want the source material. Like for me to watch a movie, I'm not like unless, of course, you know, because I think movies are good storytelling and shit like that. But
did you see Film Red or no?
If it's no, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my god! How am I supposed to talk to you about anything when you don't go and do shit?
Like if it's legitimately like an adaptation and it's like for me, like for one, like when it comes to anime movies, like or in like adaptation of like another series in general. For me, if I'm going to see that movie, I could care less about the story because I just want to see the action. Because like that's why Stampede and Broly are so good to me. Because like I don't like as much as like they made Broly like a better character. I don't go there to watch a
Okay.
Dragon Ball movie to see plot.
I
I
see what
go
you're saying.
and like when it comes to Stampede, I wasn't going there just to see like some plot from like One Piece because One Piece is such a glorious, like consistent story. Like any story in a One Piece movie, it's just not gonna
No.
necessarily interest me because it's not canon. I just want to see Luffy punch some godlike guy really hard, or see like characters who usually don't get spotlight in the main series get a spotlight. Like seeing like how everyone, like all like the nine worst generation get like a spotlight in Stampede. Seeing Boa fucking run with those godlike fucking thighs to
Oh
save,
yeah.
like that's godlike. I like that's shit you probably can't show in the original manga, but in a movie for like an hour,
Right. You can go hard. Yeah.
that's to me like again. You can write a good story in a movie. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if it's an adaptation for an already long and consistent story like One Piece or like fucking like Bleach or Naruto, whatever the case may be, I'm just watching their movies for the fights.
Right. Okay. So I see what you're saying, and I agree. Right. Like if it's not canon, it is like tough to care. That's kind of what made Film Red so good is that it was the first one that actually does have a lot of canon in it. Like, cause remember it was like it revealed a lot of stuff about Shanks. Like the whole vibe is that Oda worked more closely with this movie than any other One Piece movie. And they revealed things about Shanks. We saw Shanks fight for the first. This came out before Shanks one tapped kid, right? And like so like we saw Shanks doing stuff. It revealed some of the powers and how some of Shanks like crew members fight. And Uta was a phenomenal character. I like just to give you an idea how much I fucking adored that movie, Thurman. Uta alone from her movie appearance alone because she hasn't been in anything else is top 10 One Piece characters for me easily. I thought she was. I don't want to spoil you, but I don't know what you know or don't know about that movie.
No, it's fine. You can spoil it for me.
So Uta is the villain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. She's the main villain, and it's incredible. Like, I mean, she has at one point she has the Gorosei shaken. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, they're like, holy fuck.
I personally, like I'm gonna watch the movie, but it was just like I don't know, man. Like when it comes to like adaptations for like already established like manga stories and shit, I'm just like I'd rather just see like the action for
I
like
know what you're saying.
like
I got you. Yeah.
and that's like movies for like non like action series. Like I know there's like a lot of adaptations for like non battle shonen movies. Manga, I'm just kind of like that doesn't interest me. Like because I know there's a lot of movies for like light novel series and like shit like that, and I'm just kind of like I like the whole point of like an adaptation for like a movie like or even a game, it's like to see something different. It's
No,
just like
trust me, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Film Red is so different. One of the reasons I like her as a villain is because she, more than any other villain in One Piece, she had like a motive that I vibed with and I understood, and I was like, God damn, I really relate. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. Like, she sets up like a suicide cult, like a worldwide suicide cult with her fucking like music, Devil Fruit. It's like I'd say some of the darkest One Piece has ever gone. Like, I don't know if it'd be able to go this dark in the manga. Like, it was so good, and like literally like I don't know. I don't want to go too much into it, but like I loved it. We don't need to keep talking. I understand your point. I do. But like I guess I would never want to put out there and be like it's okay to not try on story. Just give me a bunch of flashy colors because I think you can have both. I think you can have a really really good story that really affects you emotionally, but also have all those really good fights. You know what I mean?
it's like let's take Naruto for example, right? Like, did you really care about any of the Naruto movies like that? Like, really?
No, because they weren't good. That's the difference. Like I'm telling you, I'm not I'm over here standing Film Gold or fucking standing Film Z. I'm standing specifically Film Red because I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on the I don't care because they're not canon. Yeah, because like there's already enough One Piece. Why do I want to confuse my brain with non-canon shit? I agree with you. But the cool thing about Film Red is you go in there. Uta is a canon character. Like she's canon to the world of One Piece. Do you remember like when Shanks shows up post Wano? he's thinking about all the children in his life, and he's talking about like, how dare you? Remember when he just like scares the piss out of Green Bull with his Conquerosaki from like a fucking mile away?
Yeah.
You do remember that?
Yeah.
You can go back to that page. Shanks thinks about Uta. Uta is One Piece canon.
Ooh. Yeah, I know. I think it might be on illegal sites. I might have to go watch it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find it. But like, so Uta is canon. So that I agree with you completely on the like, if it's not canon, it's hard for me to care as much. But Uta, like this film is like, it's one of those like, the stuff happening with like the Straw Hats interacting with them is not canon, but everything about Uta and Shanks is canon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's important because I could see Uta being referenced in the future potentially, even by Shanks or not. Because like there's also like it's up in the air at the end of that movie if she dies or not. Like so I'm not too sure what her like fate is in the actual canon. But like yeah, either way, I liked her a lot as a character. And you already know my type of character. Like I love the characters who like on the surface are like bubbly, happy, colorful, but then like they hide like this deep darkness, right? Like throughout the movie, she slowly like morphs from this like happy, bubbly pop star into like a psychopath, and I fucking adore it.
A psychopath.
Oh, literally. I mean, one of the things is the way her devil fruit works is in order to basically she can trap people into like an illusion dream world with her music is what her devil fruit is. But the second she falls asleep, everyone is freed from it. So she is literally throughout the movie taking drugs to keep herself asleep. She's been awake for like weeks, and she's taking these drugs to keep herself awake, and she's slowly losing her mind. And her plan is to trap as many people in this dream world as possible and then die of exhaustion, and then they would all be permanently trapped in the dream world. And then so instead of living in like this hell world where everything sucks, they can all live in her dream world. That's why I say her plan is a suicide cult. And like so there's a scene where the Gorosei are like hearing the report, and they're like, we estimate that she has 60 to 70% of the world's population in her spell, because they're broadcasting it like across the world because she's like this big pop star, and they're like, and there's the Gorosei are like, oh man, this is the end of the world.
Oh my!
She's a fire ass villain. I really loved her. Anyway,
yeah, I'll have to watch it.
So I want to talk about a couple more things here. Yeah, I love how much he loves Kobe. That's super awesome. Let's see here. I also want to talk about, I mean, you already know, I think we've discussed this. One of my top waifus and just general favorite characters in One Piece is Perona, so I'm very happy to see her. You remember a long time ago when Perona first, I mean, it's crazy how long and prolonged these, like, side plot lines that Oda has set up go for, because I mean this must have been like the middle or the early Wano, like maybe right after Reverie or like early to mid Wano, where we saw Perona on Mihawk's Island reading the newspaper about how Moria was getting fucked up by Blackbeard, because you remember that chapter where Moria fucking walked up to this island and then Blackbeard was like you know,
yeah,
because they killed the lion guy. Remember they killed the invisible lion guy, like he's confirmed dead.
Yep.
You don't remember, do you? Do you remember?
I do remember.
Okay, so like Moria popped up and he was like, "Hey," and you know, credit to him, he was like, "Bitch, you killed my guy." And then Blackbeard, so Blackbeard, he imprisoned him, and like I think the vibe is Blackbeard probably gave him like an ultimatum, like either you're gonna work for us or I'm gonna fucking kill you. Take your devil fruit, give it to one of my guys. You make your decision. I'll let you sit in the dungeon for a while. You think about that, right? So I love that Perona's here because I fucking love Perona. Because I am a Thriller Bark stan, and I love Perona is like one of my favorite characters, and like literally, like, if I could smash any One Piece character, it's Perona. I love her so much. But very happy to see her. I hope Kobe gets some of that on the side, like real quick before he leaves. And I think the last thing I want to talk about before we end off this video is the other side of the coin. Right? We just talked about a W. Let's talk about an L. Let's talk about useless Captain Lid, because you and I have not talked about useless Captain Lid since it happened.
When that chapter dropped, the memes that we saw was phenomenal. Like literally, like, and I will give him his one bone. Okay,
yep.
He shook Shanks
yep.
to the point to where he knew he had to one shot him.
But Shanks was gonna play with him. Shanks was gonna go out there and fucking do diplomacy and fucking be like, nah, never mind.
Like, cause like it goes to show you that, like, okay, Shanks realized, okay, I can't play with this guy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
One shot him, and one shot him is his assistant captain.
He is powerful. Like he's not. It's just, it's like, I feel like if Kid made the same decision that Luffy's crew did and like chill for 2 years and train, he could have been up with the big boys. But like he was impatient, you know.
And the fact that he literally went straight after Shanks,
he's
after
a fucking idiot.
After fighting 2 Yonkos, by the way, back to back.
He's so stupid, bro. I saw a lot of One Piece reviewers talking like it feels like he got kind of full of himself, right? Like he was like, yeah, I took down Big Mom. You know, I feel like in his head, because you know how people that are crazy like this will just like rewrite events in their head. You've talked to enough people to know that people will do that, like rewrite whole ass events.
Yeah.
I think in his head, it slowly morphed. At first, he's like, yeah, I helped took down Kaido and Big Mom with you know, like with Straw Hat and Law. I'm pretty fucking good. And then a couple of days passed. He's like, yeah, I took down fucking Big Mom all by myself. Yeah, Law didn't do shit. Law was just there. He was watching my back. I fucking took down Big Mom.
And keep in mind, his crew is useless too.
Yeah, also keep in mind, Law did like 80% of the work in that fight. Like let's be real.
Like, yeah, him making her a magnet was dope, but like Law was like the huge support.
He made her a magnet and he shot her down with the railgun. That was the big thing. And like that was like the two things he did. And here's the thing about that. Here's the only thing about that. We already know that one of the things about both Kaido and Big Mom is that they have absurd outer defense, right? Like they compared Big Mom to an iron balloon in the Whole Cake Island arc. We've never seen her like visibly hurt by an outside attack. The only attacks that have hurt her have been like internal things. You know what I mean? So like Law was perfect for dealing with her because you have to attack her from the inside. To me, I never saw any indication that any of Kid's attacks were visibly or physically hurting Kaido or Big Mom, because everyone else has these like fancy attacks that can kind of like attack from the inside or like fuck with, you know, like think about one of the things that hurt Kaido the most, like early, like on the rooftop battle. It was like Kid's assistant, Killer's little like sonic blades where he like sliced him from the inside. It's that inside attack. Kid needs something like that because like that outside shit, it didn't feel like it was doing anything to him. To any of them.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, he was just knocking her around, and like one of the things I like the way that Oda actually wrote that Big Mom battle, because a lot of people were disappointed, like, oh, she went down too easily, but like it was like pretty obvious that like they didn't. The only reason that fight stopped where it did is because they were on a floating island. Remember? Because like she was, as they were shooting her down, she was getting back up, and she was getting back up, and she's like, you think that's enough to kill me? They would have died. Both that was a 2v1, and they were about to get bopped, but they shot her down, you know. So I mean, I think in Kid's mind, he believes, oh yeah, dude, I won that. But he's forgetting that not only was it a 2v1, not only did he do like 20% of the work max, they also didn't even knock her out. They won by ring out.
I mean, we'll give him credit where credit is due, but the fact that he decided to take on a third Yonko after already struggling to fight 2 Yonkos he's dumb. He's dumb.
He is dumb.
Dumb as Ace going back to try to fight a Kainu.
Hey, same energy. Absolutely.
I love the fact that like Joggy and Brocky just like one shot the face.
Bro, I forgot. We got Dory and Brogy are fucking back. You understand? We need to know what's going on with that, because the last we saw them, they were still doing their battle. Because you know how Oda does those like cover stories to like kind of check in on motherfuckers? We did see a cover story post time skip showing that they were still doing their like never ending fight on Little Garden. So something happened. Like I'm guessing Shanks was like, ayo, like shit's going down, we need your help. Or some people are saying maybe like Elbath royalty was like, hey, you know, we're gonna need their help for this final battle coming up, you know, the big war that's gonna happen at the end of One Piece. Something called them back, even, or one of them won, which is possible.
Yeah. Because what was it?
Oh yeah, it was just quiet for a bit. I thought maybe you cut out.
Oh yeah, because remind me, what was their. Because it's been a long time. I really should rewatch One Piece.
Or reread it. Rewatching it would take forever.
Yeah.
You can reread that bitch in like real quick. Rewatching it is.
Yeah. So, because if I recall correctly, they were battling over like something to do with Elbaf or something else.
They had an argument that started, and then that argument led into them fighting. But they had been fighting for so long that they forgot what the original argument was. And then towards the end of that arc, we saw what it was. They were both, they both like, killed like this like giant dinosaur, and they were like, "Mine's bigger, no, mine's bigger." And then they started to fight over that. And that's, I don't know if you remember, on that island there was this weird like white mountains, and those were the skeletons of the beasts that they were comparing the sizes of.
Oh, okay.
It was paralleling Sanji and Zoro. They were doing the same thing, remember?
Oh, okay.
So it was just some dumb shit like that, yeah.
Okay.
One of the reasons I'm inclined to believe that none of them won, but like instead they were just like called back temporarily by Elbath, like by Elbath. Because remember, we know that Elbath has a king or a prince, and his name is Loki. Probably a king and a prince, because there's Loki, and then there's probably Odin as well. Loki was the one that Big Mom was trying to get one of her daughters married to, but then, you know, it went kind of south, and then, you know, the Giants still hate her, of course, because
Big Mom ate her whole family.
There's also, the Giants in general fucking hate her, and then they were trying to, like, maybe do some sort of, like, political marriage, and then I think, I can't remember if that was the one that Lola ran away from, or something like that. But yeah, like, so anyway, but yeah, so we know that, like, Loki exists. So one of the theories I'm hearing, because, like, I think if one of them won, the implication, when they were back on Little Garden, because, you know, they take that, even though it's fucking stupid, they take that shit very seriously, that, like, pride shit. And what they said on Little Garden, you really should rewatch or reread One Piece. It's really good. Oda's so good at foreshadowing, you notice things. Like, you're gonna be, as you're watching, you're gonna be like, holy shit, they mentioned Jinbei, like, back at the Baratie when the Sanji first joins. Holy shit, you know they do, right? Hey,
yeah, I heard you.
I just want to make sure you know, like there's so many good pieces of foreshadowing. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying again? I was going somewhere. Oh wait, I remember. So they take that pride shit really seriously, and in Little Garden they said, whoever, like, what they're fighting over is an eternal pose to Elbath. So the idea is whoever loses would have to stay there and be stranded on that island forever, which is hardcore, but it's fucked up. Yeah. So I don't think, my personal guess is that, like, the royalty of Elbath called them, like, they probably sent, you know how Oimo and Kashi, the giants from Water 7, wanted to find them.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that maybe Oimo and Kashi were sent by the royalty of Elbath. Hey, call them back. They're some of our best warriors. We're going to need them for this. Like, the world is about to be rocked. You know, we're going to need them, and then they can finish their fight after the war or something. Because otherwise, I don't think one of them won, because I think that they would take that seriously, and only one of them would have come back.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely, but that's definitely believable, because even Shanks is like, okay, we move.
We move.
Because he was like, okay, I spent too long on Elbath. Okay, we gotta go.
Motherfuckers are finding me now. Also, you know what's funny too? I don't know if you've been seeing people piecing this together, but, like, when they left Wano, they were, like, drawing straws to where they were gonna go. So, like, everything that's happening to Law, Kid, and Luffy could have happened in any order, and with any, you know what I mean? Like, Luffy could have been the one to roll up on Elbath, and he could have been meeting Shanks right now, or Kid could have been meeting Vegapunk right now, and
or, you know, one of them could be fighting Blackbeard.
Yeah, any one of them could be fighting. I wish that Kid got Blackbeard, bro. That would have been fucking funny.
Yeah.
Because I think Kid would have a better chance against Blackbeard than Shanks for sure, but I do think that Blackbeard would still end it off, you know, bopping him.
I feel like Law wouldn't try to fight Shanks.
No, Law wouldn't try to fight Shanks at all. Law would be like, absolutely not. we're turning around right now.
Law would see Shanks and Elbath and be like, yeah, I'm turning my ass right back around. Yeah. Goodbye.
Teching, actually, if you're interested, Teching 101, that YouTuber I follow, has a video on, like, discussing all of those what if scenarios. Like, what if each one of them went to a different area?
Yeah, I think Shanks. I don't think much would happen if Shanks and fucking. I mean, if Luffy ended up at Elbath, we would just be getting the Elbath arc that everyone's been talking about.
Yeah, if Luffy ended up at Elbath, he'd be having a party with Shanks right now.
But
unless you believe in them Shanks evil theories.
Probably not, because Bartholomew is over here destroying.
Bro, I hope that Luffy meets Shanks and it's like, I don't know what to tell you, Luffy. Your fucking underling picked a war with our crew. We gotta fight now.
I got one shot you now, Luffy.
I got a one-shot you. I love something so hilarious about the idea of a character in universe using, like, death battle terms. Like, I don't know what to tell you, kid. I got a one-shot you.
I came to one-shot mid.
Oh, yes. I came to drink booze and to one shot, and I'm all out of booze.
Oh my god.
God,
That shit
yes.
was fucking funny. So my rating
It's been so good. Peak after peak.
for definitely 20 out of 20, bro. 100%.
2 peak chapters in a row. Oda's fucking rocking it. And like the last thing we heard, I guess we should talk about with the Vegapunk stuff. So we know that it's York, the trader now, which does make sense. But what's interesting to me is like the narrator pops on, and you know, as a One Piece fan, whenever the narrator pops on, some serious shit's going down. And the narrator is like, tomorrow this will be remembered as like this crazy fucking incident. And I'm like, what is about to happen right now? You know what I mean? Because we know that like these crazy amount of battleships is coming. Remember, they said the amount of battleships, it's 10 times more than a Buster Call. They're sending 100 battleships. There's an absurd amount of battleships. Kizaru, a member of the Gorosei, all convert as this whole trader thing is happening, as the Pacifista or the Seraphim are going crazy. What is going to happen at Egghead Island? Because the narrator is talking about it. Let me actually go back and read exactly what the narrator said, because they're talking about it like how it'll be remembered for the rest of like history. Like it's like this is going to be like the One Piece world's like 9/11.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see like how things are going to play out right now, because like I'm shocked they just haven't really called a Buster Call on the area. So that must mean
they essentially have. Just to remind you, Thurman, what they're doing is worse, like more extreme than a Buster Call. Like you remember, there's a Buster Call, and then you send admirals. Like they're beyond Buster Call. We are at Buster Call is Super Saiyan. They're at Super Saiyan 4 right now. Okay.
Because I feel like, the admirals aren't just gonna like sit on the ship and let them bombard it. I feel like they're gonna be like want to officially confirm if Vegapunk and the Straw Hats are dead.
They're gonna go in, yeah. Also, keep in
So-
mind they don't want. I think maybe one of the reasons they're not doing a specific Buster Call is because they specifically want to take all of the technology. When they were sending in Rob Lucci, they told him, "Don't destroy his shit, just kill him. We want to take all of his technology for us."
Yep.
Because keep in mind, the shit he makes is like invaluable. It's like so fucking. It's worth no doubt. It's priceless. You know what I mean?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, brother. So shit, man. One Piece, we're back.
Yeah, I mean, we can try to start doing this weekly if you are down.
Yeah, bro. I'm happy I remembered to fucking hit you up.
Thank you for hitting me up. Yeah. Here, let me actually. I'm gonna end this off by reading what the narrator says here. Was it here? Or was it? When did he say that? Did I make that up in my fucking head? I could have sworn. Was it the last chapter? Man, I could have sworn. You remember something like that, right? I'm not making that shit up. Let's see, 10
Yeah, I think I remember that. It probably was like a couple of chapters ago. It's been a minute.
I might have to find it later. Oh, there we go. Let me click. All right, I'm gonna just look a little bit longer. See if I can find it here. Blah 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 blah. Is this it? Oh, okay. Here it is. Okay. And into that, so because the narrator's talking about this like it's already happened. They have this like narration where it's like, like 3 months ago, like they started getting like calls from like an insider, and of course that was York. And then they say, and into that situation, the ship of Straw Hat Luffy, Emperor of the Sea, sailed. The arrival of this unexpected variable unsettled the government, to say the least, but regardless, the resolution of this incident the following day would inflict a kind of shock the world never saw coming.
Oh, okay.
So however this incident resolves itself shocks the world, and they never saw it coming.
Ooh. Straw Hat Luffy, deceased.
I mean, it could be Straw Hat. Like, okay, I mean, it would be propaganda, but it could be Straw Hat Luffy murders a member of the Gorosei.
Oh,
because I mean, that would be like insane. Like that'd be worse than like when he punched a Celestial Dragon. That'd be like literally public enemy number one.
Accidentally killed one of the Gorosei.
What? Do you remember in fucking Sabaody when Usopp like fell from the sky because they were on the Flying Fish Riders, and like his ass lands on one of the Celestial Dragons?
Yeah.
One of them just does that to the fucking Gorosei, like breaks his spine.
Just makes him fall off the ship or some shit. Well, first, so he can't swim, so he just dies.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happens is going to be fascinating because, like, the Gorosei members, I mean, these guys are unlike the celestial dragons that are just like inbred and like duh, 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 duh. Like the Gorosei are really intelligent people. You know, I mean, like remember, like every time that they have a conversation, it's fascinating. Like remember the conversation that they had over the Denden Mushi with Professor Clover at the Ohara incident. Like they have so much knowledge. I mean, like the Gorosei know what happened in the Void Century, right? I mean, like the conversations could be amazing. I'm very excited to see what's gonna go down. But yeah, I guess is that peace.
Yeah, man. Peace.
Great to be back. Let's try to do this more consistently. Monkey D Warp. Peace.